Barry, and I'm joined here by the owner of Perry's Berries, Terry Perry. I love making jelly, and I'm gonna tell you what, these blueberries mixed up with a little pectin and a little sugar and a little wide mouth mason jar, son, good times are gonna come our way. Welcome everybody back to the Homestead Kitchen. I told you last week on the vlog when we were picking those blueberries that we're gonna be making jelly this week. Well, guess what? I'm a man of my word. We are back here in the kitchen and we're gonna have an awesome time today. I'm gonna teach you how to make some jam, son. It is gonna be on today. It's gonna be jam up. Y'all stay tuned.
Oh my God.
So today we're going to be canning. As I said, we're going to be making some jam. And what a lot of people don't know is there is some upfront costs. And so I want to be, upfront with you here and let you know and honest with you that there is some upfront cost when you start the process and start the livelihood of living like this as far as canning stuff. And so there is some upfront cost. And so what we have here, what I purchased is, and there's lots of different kinds. They have like pressure cookers and things. I just went old school and bought a large container. And of course you gotta have jars. This is, something that comes with your container. And so that you can drop your jars into the water and sterilize them and so forth and so on. That's what I'm doing back here. I'm boiling the lids and the bands because they have to be sterilized too. When it comes to making jam, it is labor intensive, but it's worth it. As far as the ingredients are concerned, there's only like 3 ingredients. The first thing that you have to do is this is critical, you have to sterilize this stuff for 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes. So it needs to be in a bowl for 10 minutes. Last thing you want is to die of botulism. You don't want none of that. And so once we get everything sterilized and we're ready to go, then we'll put all of our ingredients in and start to cook our jelly. When that jam gets done, you got to pour it in the jars immediately. So give us some time and we'll boil this for about 10 minutes. Then we'll start cooking our jam. So stay tuned. All right, so all of our stuff is sterilized. Our jars are sterilized, our lids are sterilized, our bands are sterilized. They're hot and they're in hot water right now. Now I can start to cook. Now again, so it's labor intensive, but it's gonna be worth it. First thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take our berries. Now I've got 6 cups of blueberries, 6 cups. I'm gonna take these 6 cups and I'm gonna pour them into a big pot like that right there. There's 6 cups, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take this little thing, a jigger is what I call it here, I don't know what the real name of it is, and I'm gonna scrunch these blueberries. Now what this is going to do, this is taking 6 cups of blueberries and it's making 4 cups. Ingredient number 2, Sure Gel. Now all this is pectin. And so this is from fruit, and what this is going to do, this is going to help, it's all natural. There's nothing artificial in this. It's pectin, it's straight from fruit. And all this is going to do is it's going to help our jam gel up. That's all this does. So it's 1 pack. So take your 1 pack, pour it in there. That's all you gotta do. Now, what we're going to do is, so we got 2 ingredients. We've got berries, 6 cups of berries, 1 pack of Sure Gel. And what I want to do is I want to bring this to heat. And what I want to do is I want to bring that up to a hard boil. Now a hard boil is not just a bubble here or there. No, we want a hard boil so that even when I'm stirring it, it still bubbles, and it still boils, blah, blah, blah. And so when that heat comes there and I can stir it and it still boils, I know I'm in a good place. Now, here's something that a lot of people do that I don't do. At this stage, a lot of people will take lemon juice and squirt lemons in there, just maybe a tablespoon of lemon juice in there. What I do put in there is a pat of butter, about a tablespoon. You say, why would you put butter in there? Butter helps with the foam, because this is going to foam up. You just take you a pat of butter, about a tablespoon, stick that in there and let that cook with it. Here's my sugar bowl. 4 cups of sugar. 4 cups of sugar in there. What you don't want when this comes to heat, when this comes to a boil, what you don't want to do is get your sugar container, 1 cup of sugar, 2 cups of sugar, 3, no. Go ahead and get all your sugar in one bowl. That's 4 cups. So we got 4 cups, we got 6 cups of berries that we've scrunched down. It's going to be to 4. 1 pack of Sure Gel, pat of butter, 4 cups of sugar. Because when this comes to a boil, that hard boil I was talking about, we're going to pour that whole thing in there. And then we're going to boil it hard. We're going to bring it back to heat. We're going to boil the sugar and everything hard for 1 minute. And when that's done, then we've got to immediately get it out of this pan and get it into our jars. Here we are at the table as we're waiting on our jam to cook for 10 minutes. And so when I started thinking about the Bible study, one of the scripture verses that came to my mind was Matthew 11:30. And it says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." You know, one of the things that I've tried to do since we've started this vlog, one of the things that we try to do is get you back into the kitchen, because during the pandemic, I felt like it was important to get back to stuff that's normal. And, we couldn't go out to eat. All the restaurants were closed down anyway. And try to get back to something that's normal. Try to get back to something that's easy. And one thing that I think I've proven in all of our cooking shows that we've done in the kitchen is that the way that we cook and the way that the old timers cooked was easy. It's not burdensome. It's not hard. And so what we try to do around here is show that, you know what, you can do this. Today's jelly or jam took 4 ingredients. That's all. Biscuits, a couple of ingredients, cornbread, whatever the case may be. It's not hard to do, right? It's really quite simple. And the old timers worked hard. Y'all know that. I mean, they worked extremely difficult jobs, and they come in. They didn't want to sit down and become a gourmet cook. They wanted to cook something that was good, nutritious, feed their families, and go about life. And so I think what we've tried to show here and what we've tried to prove here is that, hey, you can do this. It's quite simple. It's not laborious. There is some labor that's involved in it, but everything that's good is going to take some labor. But it's actually quite easy. And you know what? The Christian life is the same way. It's actually quite easy. And that's why Jesus said, if you'll take me on, my yoke is light, my burden is easy. And there's a lot of folks, man, in the Christian community, they're just absolutely worn out all the time. And it's because they're trying to keep all these laws, you know. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't strive to live godly lives. We should. But for goodness sakes, there's such a thing as grace and mercy. And we just drive ourselves constantly. And the Lord is, at the end of the day, is trying to tell us, listen, easy. And that's what He was telling the people of the first century too. They had been trying to live up underneath this Mosaic law, you know, the Old Testament law, God's law, 660 of them. And they just constantly tried to live underneath that, and they couldn't make it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can't make it either. You know what I mean? If the Old Testament law was difficult, New Testament is even more difficult. You say, Pastor John, how is it even more difficult to live in the New Testament than the Old? Well, I'll tell you how. In the Old Testament, and these are Jesus' words, okay? And these are not my words, these are Jesus' words. He says, in the Old Testament, you have heard it said that you're not supposed to kill a man. Don't murder someone. Jesus took that and took it to the next level and said, but I'm telling you, if you've hated someone in your heart, you've already killed them. Now listen, I've never murdered anybody. I've been very, very upset with people though, in my heart. Okay? Jesus says, another place, He says, you've heard it said not to commit adultery. Okay? I've never run around on my wife. Never. Not going to. But He says, I'm telling you that if you look at someone with lust in your heart, you've already committed the sin of adultery. It's like, good gracious, you're talking about difficult. Jesus took it to the next level, made it a deal with the heart. And so there are people who listen to that and say, there's no way I can live. There's no way I can live underneath that. The answer is, you're absolutely right. Welcome to grace. Welcome to mercy. Now again, that does not mean, the book of Jude is clear, we do not turn the grace of God into lasciviousness. Now that's a great big old college word. It's old King James language. But lasciviousness means we don't turn the grace of God into a license to commit immorality. So what we don't do is we don't go around saying, well, I got grace, and if grace is here, and sin's going to be done away with, and I can live any old way I want to live, and God's going to protect me, and I'm good to go, and I'm going to heaven, and I'm just going to let the rough end drag. I'm going to get out here and sleep there, everything I can find, drink, get drunk all night, go to church. No. That's not what the grace and mercy of God is for. The grace and the mercy of God is for you when you do slip up. So I'm not saying that we don't strive to live right. We do. But we don't beat ourselves up. Oh my gosh, you won't believe the thoughts I had yesterday. Someone pulled out in front of me and I really got upset with them. Oh God, will He ever forgive me? Yeah, He's going to forgive you. Don't burden yourself down so much that you cannot experience the grace and the mercy and the joy of living in a grace-filled life. Simply not worth it. So the Lord is crystal clear. Don't worry about all these things. Strive to live a godly life. But if you don't make it, there's grace and mercy. His yoke is light. His burden is easy. So take it easy. Just like this food, man, we're taking it easy around here today. And it's going to be all right, brothers and sisters. Be easy with yourself. Lean on the grace and the mercy of God when you need to. I think it gives God a great, big, wonderful smile on His face when He's able to give you grace and mercy. He died for that. And I don't know about you, but I'm grateful for it. So, take it easy on yourself. Don't burden yourself. Don't beat yourself up. The grace and the mercy of God is sufficient. Well, God bless you. Hope that was a blessing to you. I know one thing. This jam's gonna be a blessing. It's gonna be jam up. I know y'all like that. Look at that. Take that off of heat. I'm gonna sit it right there. Okay. Now, alright, so I just brought that jelly, that jam, off the stove. Now I gotta move quick. So what I gotta do is I gotta come in here. Whoo, 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 hot, 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 mama, mama. Good night. Obviously that's hot. Now most of the time I just stick my hand right down in there, but so that I don't show off today, I'm gonna use this. Get them jars out of there, because like I said, most of the time I just stick my hands down there because, you know, I'm just, you know, that's just the way I roll. But anyway, I'm gonna get this jar. Now look, now listen, this thing is hot. Now listen to me, it's important that you put jelly into a hot jar. Watch this right here, I'm gonna put this right over here. Because if you don't, this is so hot, you put it into a cold jar, you'll shatter it. Now, what I'm gonna do is, I got a funnel and a ladle. Now watch this. I'm gonna ladle, it gets a little messy. I'm gonna ladle that right into there. See that? I'm gonna just pick that syrup, that jam right out of there, and I'm gonna pour it right in there. You wanna come up till about a 1/4 inch from the top, about right there. Now, I'm gonna leave that in there for the next batch, because I'm gonna make some more. Because I'm going to make multiple jars today. But what I want to show you is, this is important. Okay? Remember, you got your bands and your lids. Now this is important. They've been over here sterilized. Now listen to me, that right there is a lid. See that? That's a lid. You can only use lids one time. They're one and done. You put that on there. Whoa, 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 whoa. You put that on there and you get you a band. It's gonna be hot. You put that on there and you spin that on there and you just tighten it down hand tight. Now listen to me. You can use these bands multiple times. You can only use that lid one time. It is one and done. Okay. Now, bingo. We've got 3.5 jars. Now, we're going to just keep making jelly. Now what I'm going to do is, once I put it in that jar like you've seen me, these have to be put back into this cooker, and this jam inside the jar has got to cook for 10 minutes inside that container at a hard boil. There's our key word again. So I'm going to put them jars back in there and we're going to cook them for 10 minutes in here in a rolling boil, and we're going to pull them out, set them on a tray or a rack and let them cool off, and then we'll be done. So y'all stay tuned. Alright, so we got this on, and what I want to do is I just want to put those jars, those lids on hand tight, okay? Because I'm about to cook this again now, and I just want those on hand tight. I've let them sit here and cool for just a little bit. If they're still hot, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to just put them on there hand tight. I've got 5 jars just sitting in there, okay? I'm gonna leave those 5 jars in. I'm gonna put these 3 in there, because here's what happens. If you don't put something in there to keep these jars upright, when it starts to boil, these jars will fall over. And when they fall over, that's no good. We need them to be up. And look, your water in here needs to be at least 1 to 2 inches above the top of the lid. That's important. You need to have those jars completely encased in water. I'm gonna boil it for 10 minutes. And after it boils for 10 minutes, I'm gonna take them out, put them back on the rack, and we'll be done. So stay tuned. Here we go. So, it's been 10 minutes, and we're ready to get them out. So, woo! Let me turn that down, because I'm telling you something, that is rolling hot in there. All right, so listen, this is very critical. When you pull these jars out, they're going to start to cool immediately. You need to be listening for them to pop. When they pop, that's your sign, my sign, that they're sealing. Okay? If you do not hear that pop of this lid sealing, you cannot, listen to me, you cannot put these jars in your pantry. If it never pops, that jar, the jelly in it is good, it needs to go into the refrigerator immediately. So whatever you do, listen for that pop. That is a telltale sign that this is sealed correctly. Also, once this is out, I'm not eating this right now. I'm not eating this. After it pops and I know it's got a good seal, I'm going to keep it just like it is on this countertop for 24 hours. I want it to thoroughly cool before I put it up somewhere. Don't go take them right now, stick them in the refrigerator. You don't want to do that. You want this to cool off just like it is, and then we'll enjoy some toast. What's today? Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. Not in the morning, but the next morning, because I got to let it sit for 24 hours. So we'll listen out for that pop, and we'll have it. There it went. So that sound is what you're listening out for. I can see, I don't know if that camera can pick it up. That's indented. That was the pop that you heard. That's still sticking up. That's still sticking up. There's a bubble right there in the middle of that lid. There's an indentation. It went from a pop-up to an indentation. A bubble to an indentation. I don't know if that camera picks that up, but that's what you're waiting for, is that little click we heard. 2 jars are good. Three jars cooked, 3 jars popped. I am the master of all things jam and jelly. Yeah!
Oh my God.
Son, I'm telling you what, you don't talk about something that's gonna be good on a biscuit. It's just good to be the master of all things jam and jelly. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but it's just gonna be jam up. Well, hey, look, thanks a lot for taking the time to be with us today. Comment, listen, share would be, listen, love to hear from you on what you like to do as far as jams and jellies. This is blueberry. I still got to make some blackberry. You may like strawberry. Let me know what you like. Get yourself in the kitchen and let's get on this stuff and let's make it jam up. Let's do this. God bless y'all. Y'all take care. It's going to be jam up. Dancing with the Burke stars. Watch out now. You see that right there? Just look at the shoulders. Get you some of that. Dancing with the Burke stars. Here we go. It's all in the shoulders. Get you some of that. Look at that. I mean, it's like a professional.